Yeah, yeah. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Noodles. Happy July, July 3rd. We were at Maker Park Radio. It's a Wu-Tang Wednesday up in Shaolin, Staten Island. And what a journey it's been. It's been an amazing year. I've been having so many amazing guests. And when I think of amazing, when I think of someone who's passionate, someone who really cares about what they're doing, cares about people, cares about experience, cares about legacy, cares about helping others. I got my guy, Third Odd Child, in the building. What's up, man? Welcome. How are you?
Is this on?
Yes, sir.
Yo. Man, I'm feeling good, and I appreciate the intro. Just want to scoot up the chair a little bit. So
Yeah.
just be a little more comfortable.
So for anyone who doesn't know, where are you from?
Okay, so I'll start with my name.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, what's it called? My name is Danny. Danny T3C. T3C stands for Third Eye Child. I say that because I choose to not make my characters my sole identity. I feel like they represent aspects of me.
Mhm.
I feel like that's just something I'm more stepping into. And I'm from Long Island. I'm from Central Islip. Just moved around Holbrook, Ronkonkoma, Staten. I'm out in Florida now. I can't believe it, but yeah, I'm kind of hailing from a lot of places right now. But born and raised in New York for sure.
That's beautiful. So for anyone who doesn't know, I know you get busy, but what do you do? What do you do on the regular?
Well, shoot, man. I draw. I try to create as much as I can, really. A lot of times I would say I thought that was the only thing I had to do. So I've definitely been trying to just see how I can make art essential. And that's been my goal. I want it to be essential not only just for myself and my livelihood, and just incorporate that not only just as projects, but just as what it was. It was like self-care. It was like therapeutic. It was a way for me to be in my own world, take care of myself, give a reason to live. You know what I mean? Like that's just I really see it that way. Yeah, I mean I do and did everything to I guess question whether or not like if this was really what I was meant to do or if it was just like a hobby, just a passion. But like no, I think it's just like life work. So I know like every space I try to step into, it's always been about what can I do? What can I do to improve a space? Where are my skills, to improve a space, And I was like, whether I was in the kitchen or, I was like, building boxes for art, like as a carpenter, it was really just, I always try to make it, at least, a skill that I can take back to this art, and if not, make it artistic. So
That's beautiful, man.
yeah, man.
So you picked up. What was the first thing you kind of picked up when you were like a young one or recent or whenever you got into the game of just creating?
Yeah, man.
Could you kind of remember that moment where it hit you where it was like, oh man, this means something.
Yeah, for sure, man. I would say like it was just watching my dad draw. He would, those like at the diners, like they have like those mats, those paper mats.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll be like with the stars that you just connect the dots, but this one just blank, and they would just give you crayons. But he used to draw like all my favorite characters, and he didn't like look at his phone. There wasn't phones like that you can do that back then. He just did it from his mind, and that blew my mind. Once I saw that, I was like, oh my god, like I want to do that. I want to draw from my mind. And like right now, that's how I kind of pitch myself, like a performance illustrator, like a freehand muralist. I definitely had, I went to school for illustration out at FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology,
Amazing.
for 2 years. Dropped out, hopped into a gallery, because why not? When it's COVID, you just gotta make your moves how you can. And I did everything, I painted on shoes, I painted murals, I made album covers for people. You know, I painted T-shirts. I made graphic designs for whether it was like prints or like for commercial, you know, company logos. I did as much as I could, you know, and I would say like all of them kind of required that same skill of just like my foundations and what I was interested in, but it was never something that like I wanted to just be like, oh yeah, I'll just like make comics and just see what happens, you know.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it just felt more important to me. It felt like kind of like every space I go to, it had to do with some person like figuring out how to like illustrate a story through their art, their medium, and that's what interested me more.
That's so real, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
So
it.
art is just so essential, right? It, as you said, you talked about how it's healing, therapy, and then you talked about the influence of art and just seeing your pops and how that rubbed off on you, and
Yeah.
it just sparked this fire that hasn't gone out, and it's only continued to grow and set ablaze so many stages and places. And so what a journey it's been, because I know you were talking about the conversation about hobby, right? Because I'm all for that. I'm all for people. If you love something, I always say don't let it go. Hold on to it. Have fun with it, regardless of the time, right? Because a lot of us have work. We're in a career. We have kids. We have certain things. It's like, damn, I gotta pull this X amount to be able to do this. And then sometimes that transition. So hobby is definitely cool, but I'm on the other hand. I started as a hobby, and now all I do is art and help people make art, and it's just I'm full time. So I don't know hobby, even though I have some hobbies, including this pod and certain things. But I love you never let it go, and you've just kind of kept letting it grow in you. And
Can I speak on that?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I expand on
yeah.
that? I feel like just, you know, even if it's like, you know, I think my perspective on that can definitely help. I think it's like, you know, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I would say timing is a very important thing. You know, I think it was the moments where I listened to everybody, you know, who had logic behind why art wasn't feasible as a career, as a pursuit to make ends meet. You know, I didn't grow up fortunate like that to where I can have the free time to figure out what I wanted to do. So when I went to school and I dropped out, that was a problem. It's like, all right, so you try to make it professional, but now you're not. So like, what are you gonna do with your life, you know? And there was a moment where I thought like maybe this is just something I do for fun. And I think if that moment didn't exist, I wouldn't have brought my career and my business to be in that foundation to just make it fun. So like I would say it's all like, you know, whatever conclusions you come to within your lifespan of just kind of expanding on and diving deeper for your talents and how you can use them, you know, and like where they just fit in your life. You know, I think, you know, like just like someone who like worked out for 10 years but they took a break because of an arm injury, you know, like you're not gonna tell that person they're not like an athlete anymore because they didn't, you know, they something came up in their life. You can still be human, you know, and do this, you know. And I thought my job defined who I was for a while. So like because I busted kitchens or sold insurance, like I thought that I'm no longer an artist, you know. And I think a lot of artists get trapped in that mentality because that's what everyone, you know, the system. I can say a system. I think it's just you sometimes, you know. Whatever it is, whatever things that come up, you know, whoever is your enemy, whoever is your demon, it's like it's a reflection of you, in my opinion, sometimes. And like that doesn't necessarily mean they're pure evil. It's just a lesson you gotta learn, you know. So that's why I wanted to say to that, because I feel like there's truths within, you know, just even the statement that you made, and like I think you just explained it so well for me to open up that point.
Bro, and what I'm thinking too is you talked about like what some people would call an L. Right?
Yeah.
Like you took an L, you went to school, so you're putting your money where your mouth is, because you're like, yo, I'm going to take this to the next step. I'm going to go to school. Then you're investing, you're paying money to go to a school. And then that moment where you're like, well, I'm dropping out, you could have taken that moment and been like, this is the break moment where
Yeah.
this is it. You're right. Like,
It felt like it for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Because it's
Wow.
interesting, right? When good or bad things happen, a lot of the time with me, it's like, is this the sign to keep going or is this the sign to stop? And I'm always like, what voice is louder? And you could have taken that moment as like, I'm good. Things just don't make sense. I dropped out of school. It's not for me. But you were like, nah, I'm gonna keep going with this.
I gotta add to that as well, because I got there.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, you can get there, and it's a matter if you stay there. I think you look at I'll go to hip hop because I'm sure you can relate. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing because, like, I grew up as a hip hop head. My brothers were into hip hop. Like, that I learned about all the beefs, before, like, this whole Kendrick and Drake stuff. Like, that was my homework when I went home. So shout out to my brothers for that. But my point is, you right now there's, like, an interesting thing happening in underground hip hop where, like, lyrical rappers, like street rappers, gangster rappers, they kind of have this this resurgence. I think of, like, Action Bronson and Griselda, Benny the Butcher. There's like or even producers like that in that scape where, like, they're kind of breaking the mold for what a hip hop artist is lifespan, and, like, because they say it's a young man's game, but these guys are killing it in their 30s, their late 30s, their 40s, their 50s. Freddie Gibbs is another one too.
Oh yeah.
So I look at those guys and I just because it's a different medium, it doesn't mean it's not you can't take inspiration from that. So
Facts.
I would say, like, I hit a point where I thought I couldn't make it back because you had to make it young. You had to make it where all your accolades look straight from beginning to end. Because the opportunity I took, it didn't work out. In the sense of what I thought it was gonna look like. Where I was gonna make a lot of money selling art. It didn't turn out that way. And that was me thinking, oh, I just made the big jump to make this happen. So I would say, like, I hit a bad low, and, like, I remember, like, taking a few jobs just to, like, well, if I can't do it with other people, I gotta do it with myself, and, like, that put me in an even darker pit. And, the locals out here kind of got me out of that darkness, where I was, like, hermited. I kind of gave up, and, like, the people who I call my people, my friends, they, shout out to Lori, shout out to Rangel, shout out to Ashley, shout out to everyone who came to my event before I moved to Florida 2 years ago. Shout out to Dave.
That.
Yeah, that's where you met me.
We met. Yeah.
So, like, I think of those moments and, like, even going out there where, like, it's just not the same creative demographic, creative space, different energy, I can say. But, like, that moment kind of showed me, like, the seasons that I went through in the conversation of what we're having here about what you essentially want to do and how you want to show up for it, and what does success look like to you in that space. I would say, like, that kind of changed through just trying, and like, even when I thought I gave up, people didn't give up on me. So that's why I think like, a lot of what the info I sent you, like, I'm big on community right now because those were the people who got me out straight up. Yeah, man.
So important, man. So important. Just being around people that have, like, that boost in them, right? Like, they got that battery in their back, and they're like, yo, and you see them, and when you're down, I know I've had, so, like, I go through ups and downs on my day to day. Like, there's like hours, but I'm kind of just have to do what I do just by default because there's no other. It's all I have now. I don't know really any other way but to do this art shit all the time. But just being around someone, like, there were times I was having some crazy days. We got on the call. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and you were like, bro, I don't know. Is it too late for a call? I'm like, I was shot. I was tired. I'm like, I don't know when else I'm going to talk to this guy. I got to do this, bro. And then I talked to you, bro. And, bro, I would, I remember one night I was having a tough day. And when we talked, I got off the phone. I was like, okay, let's go. let's go. So just
That fire.
it's dope to just be around dope people. Lori, Ash, Rangel, I've worked with all of them, and
Yeah.
they're all they're all special. They're all
Mhm.
special, and that's a blessing, man. That's a blessing to just be out here doing what you love, sharing it, and creating. I know you're big on creating art with clear intentions. I know that's a big thing too. Maybe you could break that down for us.
Yeah, man. It's like taking it took me to, I had to ask myself questions that I feel like an artist usually doesn't ask themselves. I think when you ask a lot of artists, uh, and this is no shade to nobody, I think this is most artists. You ask them, what they want to do, and they usually answer from the perspective of their influences or what they see around them. Their idea of a limit, or the other spectrum where it's just no limits, But I think there's pros and cons to that sometimes when you're initially starting, and there's like no grounding, there's no feasibility, and even the challenges I mentioned before, they kind of surrounded me with like people and like just good thoughts to have, which is like, well, what kind of artist do I want to be? I want to be an illustrator, cool. I want to tell stories too. I mean, I want to tell stories, with my art, cool. But like, I can name 100 artists who can do that, but they're not happy or they don't see themselves as successful. I don't. Those are not my influences. Those are not the people I look up to, because that's. It doesn't even have to be art for just for me to go like, that's not my path. That's just not how I see myself going. Not to say that there isn't work being put in. There isn't dark days, but like your mission, your goal. I think that's like if I wanted it to be therapy, which I did. If I wanted it to be about community, which I mean they all apply. Just pushing out dope ideas. I see myself inventing things. I see myself like drifting into different styles. I truly believe shout out to my ancestors, shout out to my lineage, Mesoamericans, Latinos, who built without any outer world influence at a majority of human existence, just time, they were able to just build and create like a lot of like essentiality and a lot of purpose, I think a lot of, just to give a little quick history and just my perspective on it. They created iconography, they created characters, for their religion, for their beliefs, and they created tools, to like all these things, all these crazy things. But the thing that kind of spoke to me is that they had not only clear intentions for how to use them and what they were for, but they had heart behind every creation that they had. So I think, before you can even like open up what it looks like to even be clear on yourself, you gotta like go in, you gotta find your inner gold, because like, there was no other competition around them other than their tribes around them and themselves. They didn't have to feel like they had to conquer like someone who didn't look like them. So they looked like all like each other, And like, I can't speak for every tribe. I can't speak for every, I can't go back in time. But what I can say is when I look at that, I know art was being created for different reasons than what I see now, and like, just, I think that was the game changer for like what I want to do now, I just released services that I feel like align with a lot of like, those same teachings, which I'm still learning, but they're very much in the aspect of like, do it to earn it. And like, when you earn it, like, and be clear what you're asking for, because like, you're gonna always get a side of yin yang with that, you're always gonna get some pros, you're gonna get some cons with that, and like, I rather just like, I hit a point in just wanting to shoot for all these things in life where I was like, yo, but like, if I'm gonna show up for these things, like, I want to feel good in my soul when I do them, no matter what happens, like, and like, when I do it, I'm tired, my neck hurts, like my bank account's negative, but like that post, that just opened the door, like that post I made, that connection I made, that opened the door that I didn't even think was gonna open the door, and like I would say like, all cause like I was able to make an exchange with somebody, they got materials from me and I was just able to paint a wall, they were able to get people to record my mural, and like those are things that like people kind of advise you to do against. Make your money, like, make sure you got, like, your posts in order, like, I don't do things normal, but what I do is I do things in my heart. And I think that's what created Clear Intentions, because I started asking myself more genuine questions, sincere questions. Sincerity, like, really, like, kind of prevailed within, like just everything I wanted to do, and became like the reason I wanted to do everything, and like kind of get out of my shell, really.
It's so real, brother. It's so real. I feel you, because I totally know the feeling of getting a feeling to go out and do something, but then there's like the Dave, like the hungry artist Dave who just started, still here, and he just wants to be wherever. Then there's the business Dave now that's like, well, what's the ROI? What's this? You drove all the way to Connecticut. What happened, right? Like, how do you make this make sense? But I'm grateful that now I could still keep that Dave in the beginning, and that Dave is always me. It's not just the beginning Dave, it's me. But I still have that new operating system where, like, I do turn stuff down sometimes. Some things just, they don't make sense, and I can't say yes to everything. Yeah, but then there's times I get little messages, or I get feelings, and it's like, go help this person. Get this person to the next step. Encourage this person. Be there for them. Support them, and don't expect nothing. Don't worry about anything back. And I keep getting these feelings to do that. And I look at myself, I'm like, damn. Got a crib, got a fam, got a pup, doing all right. Things are working and grooving. I got a trip booked in a month or two. Go do this.
Congratulations, man.
God got me. So there's these. I keep getting these, like, emails, from above, and I'm like, do I put them in spam, or do I forward them? And forwarding, it's like putting it out there and delivering the ideas and these feelings to go out and get, support people. And I'm grateful for Type 88, grateful for Stereotype. We've been able to, just show love and no payola, no BS, no, oh, you do this for me. Like, we just want to show love. And God has always got me through it all. So it's just great hearing about that, bro. The clear intentions, and just, you have a vibe and you have this spark, and then you just follow it.
Man, like, I want, like, well, first of all, thank you, and congratulations. I want to, like, just make sure you hear that, man, because as much as this is like an interview for me, which I appreciate the platform, if I didn't mention in this platform, but like, I think, like, I think a lot of people, I'm sure, see you and they hear this, and they don't, I'm sure they don't get to hear this out of you, too many times. And if they do, I'm sure it's good just to hear it from this perspective, because, like, what I get from just hearing that is, like, you understand that you're just more than the artist. You're more than just, like, the family man, and you got to play all those roles, but, like, it's the fulfillment within those roles, and, like, why you do them, they're all grounded within your heart, like, that's why, like, we fuck with you at the end of the day, because, like, everyone knows, like, to me, like, it's corny when someone doesn't make it about that sometimes, It's cool to be ambitious, don't get me wrong, and you can be, there's always an artistry level to how, people show up for themselves and present themselves, and, that's always, cool to explore and interesting to explore. But just from what I'm getting from you and what you're saying, man, like, I had to give you your flowers, man. You're doing amazing things, Seriously, bro.
Appreciate that, my bro.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah, I mean, shit. Just even, that's why I like make characters. That's why I make characters. I choose to acknowledge the aspects that people, someone said something to me. One of my friends, I was going to do a mural for them, I just wanted to paint as much as I could. So I was like, I don't care. Like, I got paint. Let's just make it happen. Like, I need a post. and she was like, let's just make a design and then just show it to me. I show it to her birthday party. I give it to her, and she like starts crying, and I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. And she was like, no one's ever like shown me this aspect of myself before. And like when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's what like one of the things I'm meant to do. I'm meant to show people like my perspective, and in a way where most people can't communicate it. You know, I think art is about communication, it's expression at the end of the day, and like it's like you know, so it's that line between expression and resonance, you know, and like just who catches it, who's in your timing, you know, how many times you have to pulse it to do it. You know, and I think we have to do that for ourselves and in every aspect of ourselves, you know. So like, you know, that's kind of what I'm stepping into more so now. Just like, you know, there's a story behind the character. You don't gotta like make some, you know, like complicated inception level of like, you know, illustration, and then you just like, you know, no disrespect, but all disses to people who just be like, you know, like I'm a little tired as an artist just to hear of someone say like, oh, I you know, like, I don't want to describe the piece, you know, like I'll let someone have their own interpretation, you know. But you know, I want some change in that. I want some intention in that. I want some clarity in that, because I think I'm a little tired of like people mistaking Dave, you know, for what he's trying to do. I'm a little tired. You know, the work does speak for itself, but people gotta speak on your behalf sometimes. People gotta document your behalf. You know, people gotta, you know, really like connect with one another in a way where it's like not impersonal, it's personal, you know, to a level where we can respect one another at the end of the day, you know. Like I really believe in that, you know. I really believe in that. That's all I wanted to say about that, man, for sure.
I respect that, bro, and I love that you put something over here that exploring the local role models over celebrity worship. So maybe you could kind of break that down, because it's probably another reason why we're homies, because I'm about the same stuff right there, because it's just people, you know, local heroes, hometown heroes, the unheard, the unsigned, the independent. It's just, you know, I love Wheezy, right? He got plenty of articles about him. You know, I would love to interview Wheezy if I could, but there's something that makes me kind of more hype when I get to interview Eddie I like 10 years ago. You know, like in the fact I've done that, and kind of just having an eye for, you know, just unheard and unsigned and independent, and as you said, local role models. So maybe you could explore that for us.
Well, yeah, man. You know, I think a lot of like the things that there's definitely things I'm shooting for, but there's definitely things I'm unlearning, and I think like you need to make room for things in order to grow. And I feel like you know, I just don't subscribe sometimes to talented people who don't speak for me. You know, I think you know, I was able to meet, you know, a few like people who were really cool, you know, who were just, you know, shout out to Ghostface for being at my local diner, you know, when I was living out here.
He's always showed love.
Yeah, man, you know, so shout out to, you know, just you know, all these like just opportunities I got to meet, you know, somewhere I was like, oh shit, this is dope, you know, like, but you know, at the same time, like those, they have a space, you know, to be shown love, shown flowers, you know. But you know, they never been quiet. They never been. It's never been a secret that celebrity part of it is a business. It's a front, you know. And there's a space for that. But you know, I think a lot of people give too much, you know, too much flowers, you know, and like that's you know, those flowers can go to the ground. That can go to your garden. That can go to your circles. You know. So, like in my opinion, you know, it's the people like you said, the unheard, the unspoken, you know, who, yeah, they don't gotta be famous, but there are definitely opportunities where like just because like there wasn't a level of community enough where someone wasn't able to look out for another person, you know, and naturally that would happen. But like there was I believe there was a point in time, you know, where that was the code. That was the code of the people, you know. To you know, if you really, you know, show homage, show love to those who not only just do one big thing and pop out, you know. It's the people doing it every day. It's the people like doing the things sometimes you don't want to do. You know, it's your mom making food for you when you're going out. You know, it's the it's the garage dude. You know, like just fixing your tires. You know, like, and you know they can be doing something in the sun. You never know. You know, I met people who just ran whole studios, and like were a teacher part time. You know, I met people who just like, you know. And I can name so many people right now. I feel like they're amazing, but they choose to know it, you know? And like I think there's a balance between, you know, just showing love to them, you know, in a way that just you know, at least it'll be reciprocal. At least it'll be something to where it's tangible. And I think those are like those small moments that kind of make whatever you're trying to do feasible.
That's so real, man. It's so real. Yeah, and you know, shout out to everyone, and we've had plenty of support from Redman and Meth and Ghost, but we know they're busy, you know, and you know, founder of hip hop, Cool Herc, showed love, and we appreciate all that, but you know, just sharing local stories and local role models. It's so true. Like, it was dope. It was dope to interview Lori Love.
Shout out to Lori.
I don't know if there was an interview out there with Lori Love out there. So it was just so amazing to talk to her for like 2 hours and hear her journey, what she, you know, how she's still here through what she's been through, and, you know, her finding art and all this. And that to me meant more than if I could have ever interviewed like Shakira or something, you know what I mean? Like, I'll remember that Lori Love interview forever. Like, that was like during COVID. She just like was fighting cancer and all this stuff, and it was like, to hear that story, bro, that still inspires me to this day. So, you know, shout out to all the local role models out there. There's so many, and that's real, man. So you're on a roll, man. You got a lot going on.
Thank you, man.
I know you got a lot going on in the summer. Here we are, summer of 24. Maybe we could talk about a couple of things you got in the works, and what we could look forward to.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. So this has definitely been like a soft rebranding. You know, a new rollout I've been doing. A lot of my work just started with the cameras can see this logo right here.
Hey, there you go.
That took me like 8 years to make. I'm not gonna lie. It took so many iterations, and I think a lot of these projects that I have, a lot of these things I wanted to do, they opened up the door to just kind of make a safe space, you know. So you know, I'll just start with just that, you know, that rebranding kind of opened up, you know, at going on different platforms, my local platforms, and just kind of expressing who I am, you know, what I'm trying to do. If you didn't know, now you know, because I'm just starting to know. And you know, I'm a freehand illustrator, you know, a muralist, trying to do everything, you know, just really within a reasonable pace. And right now, this is my illustration era. This is my telling stories, giving homage, getting clear, you know, who I am. So I'll definitely, you know, use this platform to share that what's coming up next. Right now, it's all pieces that I'd made that were in the vault, you know, recently or before. And there's been, you know, pieces that I've just been releasing every day now. So you'll see that because in a few days, it's my birthday. So it's definitely like my birthday month. That's the only way I can see celebrating it on a digital platform. Just like doing something right for me, you know, just getting it all out. And that's the style. It's very trippy, drippy, you know, it's very like freehand, just doing it live. That's the theme right now. Just getting it out, you know, just expressing myself. And you know, they all have different intentions, different themes. You know, we have our collaboration, which I would love to give more space to, for sure. You know, but yeah, man. The goal, I would say, right now within this era of me doing all of this, you know, I want the face to be a symbol for like where I'm stepping into, and that's just to get even more clear. You know, to like really express, how I want to show up this community. If you see these services and you're like, okay, word, I can see what you're doing. It's like, but do you? Like, I want to be able to like really have every opportunity to be an example on my job is to expand people's minds on what creativity truly is, and like there's artistry and then there's innovation, and I'm really trying to innovate a path for people to kind of be a reason to create in a way that just like feels natural but thinks outside the box. So like I'm kind of making illustrations right now that kind of just define that, and I want those to kind of be my fuel. I can't make all this art for everybody, I got to have something for myself. So I'm actually making I want to like make sure the title's right. It's like 24 pieces of truth, I'm calling them, and they're gonna just basically just be simple illustrations that kind of define my integrity, the way I show up in this art. And I believe once you set your intentions clear, sometimes magical things can happen. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just working on those, and hopefully, not hopefully, just in due time, just a lot of blossoming things. I believe just can come from that. And that could just look like just I want like an album that just of music. Since I make beats. I feel like that needs to platform, and I feel like when I hear it, I see things, and I want that to I don't want that on regular platforms, and if that's what it's got to be right now, for sure, but I definitely want everything I can make to be things that where I can make steps rather than just big punches. I think there's room for big punches, but I want to make the platform to kind of just make the training room. I think that's my biggest thing. As I'm making my intentions clear, as I'm like still shooting my shots and just doing what I can, not only for myself but for my people, and just whoever I align with, business wise, or whatever space I'm in, whatever place I'm in. I want to make sure that that it's communicated. I'm still a young artist, and I'm still figuring out what works for what reason, and like I want something to ground that. So these 24 or 21 shades of truth, it's 7 pieces, so it's for each aspect of truth, and I just went with the dark, the gray, the light, so I think there's an energy with those things. I think there's an energy that there's a space to utilize everything. What's going on, bro? So yeah, man, I'm just stepping into something where whatever happens is because I showed up right, and, I came correct.
I love it, my dude. I love it. So, we got, I'm sure, a lot of your fans and community and friends tuning in, but for the Type 88 radio community that maybe is just learning about you right now, where could they find you? How could they connect and, continue to see your creations?
While I answer this, I'm just going to do a quick sketch of Dave, because why not? But, what's it called? Yeah, I got you for sure. So, where you can find me, I feel like what needs to like kind of happen is just get my website out. So that's already out. If you don't know, just go on my page, Third Eye Child. A lot of people have a hard time finding it. Be patient, you will find me. So it's third, THIRD, eyed. It's not spelled with EYED. It's E's are flipped. They're threes. Okay.
Gotcha.
So third. 3Y3D and then child.
Gotcha.
CHILD. All one word on Instagram.
I'll put the links also at the bottom of this.
Appreciate
YouTube
it,
and Spotify and Apple and wherever you listen. That's amazing. So third 3Y3 D child Instagram, and I'm gonna put those links down there. Make sure to connect with my dude. He will inspire you to that thing you've been putting off, or that thing that you want to keep doing more of. Or just watch him. He's gonna every day he drops something online, or he shares something, or he gives you some introspective talk about what he just did or where he just went. And this guy has layers, man. He has layers We've had amazing convos, and we got something special coming very soon.
For sure.
I'm really hype about it. So make sure to stay connected with Stereotype Co. We're gonna be, dropping previews and little event things and little different stuff to really celebrate this collab, bro. And working with you on this has been definitely a journey, because time has been a very interesting year, and it's literally about a year in the making, this drop. So Stereotype Co. and Third Odd Child, we're dropping something very soon.
Shoot.
And
let's talk about it. I feel like
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
just
we gotta
open up a little bit. Let's give them a little context, man.
Yeah.
Because there was a question. Well, shout out to you first of all for you made what's it called? Just an invite for any artist to compete. And for people to submit who was their favorite artist. And my community showed up, so shout out to my community for just getting me there. And that awarded me Artist of the Year on your platform, which I
Dreamer
appreciate.
of the Month. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Word.
Dreamer of the Month. That's right. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're still Artist of the Year as well.
Hey, lifetime artist. So
yeah, bro. You
man.
took that, and I love how you took it, and then you further connected with everyone that voted.
Yes.
And then you included either their conversations or their stories or their comments into what you're doing with this collab. So I love how you made this so personal. Like people are like, yo, take it personal. This kid took it personal, and he got personal with people, learning about them, their stories, their journeys, and you got inspired by them, and then you incorporated that into the piece. So this stay tuned, because this guy really he made something really, really special. And it's a piece where you look at it and you could love it in a few seconds, but then it'll take you maybe an hour or so to really catch every little thing. If that, it may even take longer to catch all the little details that he put into this piece. And it was just so cool to just see it evolve over time and just see your drawings. And it's coming soon. Before you know it, it's gonna be here.
Nah, dude, like this piece, I call it like my people, for my people. It's definitely because they're the ones that got me that opportunity, and I wouldn't be here. Like I said, I wouldn't be here without them. So, they definitely always get my flowers. They always get my praise. So, shout out to them, and shout out to, everyone who was able to just respond to that. Because, I asked y'all, what does art mean to you and your community? What makes art essential? That's kind of what we've been talking about here. How do you make it essential in your life? And people really had some interesting responses. And, that doesn't go unnoticed to me, because that's all I care about. That's all I like. That's my conversation I have with all my people. So there's always room for that for me. And I just decided, since I'm so big into incorporating, stories into my art, let's just make that let's have people, their interests, their stories, let's let that be the conversation, So that's what this is, man. It's just it's a trip. It's a literal trip, and you don't gotta be high to trip on my shit. So for sure, I definitely want people to just absorb, that, and just really kind of step it up, man, step it up. Because we got to.
That's
for sure.
That's so cool, man. I remember I do classes. I always try to tell kids, I'm like, make a shirt. You want to connect with people in a few seconds, because they're gonna decide if that shirt makes sense to them. But I always tell them, that doesn't mean I don't want you to have layers to it, and where people could spend time and where they could really dig into this. So that's what I really love about what you did, bro. You found just a piece where you're like, oh, what? That's dope. But then I love the depth to it and the layers and the extra pieces to it, because as I said, you're gonna look at that piece, and anyone who looks at the shirt, you're gonna need time to really take it all in and like zoom in on pieces, little stuff, and try to unlock and figure out what's what, who's who is he talking about here, who did this.
It's not a piece where you can just walk past it, you know,
Yeah.
in 10 seconds, you know, and especially if it's gonna, you know, these are T-shirts,
Yeah.
you know, so like, you know, it's gonna be dope, you know, to just have this at Hub 17 on July 14th for the, I believe it's the Arts and Music Festival, you know. And, you know, we were just able to lock in a spot to just kind of feature that. We'll be raffling that, you know, for anybody to stop by, you know, just get a sneak peek, you know, be part of the community, you know, and just, for my people to come out and just see it for themselves, you know, it's not just me behind this, you know, we were all able to come together, you know, artists, you know, yeah, we can freestyle things, but it's with our mind's eye, you know, and you need inspiration, you know, I believe, you know, just going back to Deception, I mentioned that before, but that means like an original idea, you know, and like, shout out to Nas, no idea is original, you know.
There's nothing new under the sun, not
exactly.
what you do, but how it's done.
There you go. So, you know, shout out to, you know, just people who were able to give me that spark, you know, we were able to sit with it and we were able to just be like, shit, man, this is what we got to do. Like, I think this is the wave, you know, and that's all you need sometimes, you know, you just need that spark, that fire, you know, so. Shout out to people just able to do that. Just, you know, just for every artist, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So, I see you cooking right now.
Yeah, bro. Not my best sketch, guys, but we're just going to make it happen,
few seconds.
You know?
That's real, bro. Hey. I appreciate it.
Of course, bro. That's for you, man.
I'm lucky I could eat ice cream and watch TV at the same time. This guy's having a conversation. That's fire, bro. Thank you.
Got you, man.
So yeah, make sure to connect with my guy, Danny, Third Eyed Child, and he's just, I'm excited for your future, man. I'm excited to see what you do next.
Appreciate
you always surprising us. You're always pulling tricks out of the hat, the bucket hat, whatever hat it is. And speaking of hat, I brought you one.
Oh, shit. Get out of town, bro.
Let me give you a little piece right there.
Why? I'm about to swap this right now, man. What?
So, yeah, that's not even on the site.
Damn, exclusive? Damn, can I show them?
Oh, yeah. Sure. We've sold some of those in the past. It's just not everything's on the site. So yeah, if you find me or you're at an event, we may have those, but I want to give you one. But yeah, bro.
It means a lot. Thank you, bro.
Of course, man. I'm excited about the collab. I'm excited about your future. And bro, just keep shining, man. Keep shining that light. And I love the clear intentions. I love the local role models. I love, you know, just finding a way. Making it make sense, and
if not, pivot. Yeah. You know, move forward. You know, like rewrite the script, flip it. Mm-hmm. You know, we can't plan everything out. You know, we can't speak on everything. You know, with our full heart and chest. You know, not everything. Yeah. You know, so you know, it's just a learning process. You know, if I falter, if I don't post, you know, I'm a human. You know, I don't look like no damn algorithm, so I'm just posting what I can, you know. Yeah. And I do it with my whole heart and chest, you know. If you don't see me posting, it's because I'm working.
Real
you
stuff.
Know? So yeah, you know, I'm gonna tear this right here.
Oh, thank you. There we go. Oh, that's man. For you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the hat, bro.
Of course. I love the little version too.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Got you, bro.
So, yeah, make sure, I'm going to drop all his links below. Make sure to connect with Danny. Be on the lookout for the collab. This guy's, you can find him locally, but then you'll find him across country. So, the best way to find him is on his journey.
Around the world, hopefully, soon. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So, be on the lookout. When the collab drops, the link will also be below. You know, once again, shout out to Maker Park Radio for having us, giving us this peaceful place to share our stories, untold stories and dreams. And yeah, bro, you're always welcome back, man.
Man, I don't got, man, I empty out my gas tank, you know, like I'm just here now. And yeah, just, I appreciate you seriously once again for this platform, you know, and yeah, shout out to everyone watching, you know, whether live or just you play it back, you watch this in 10 years. This is what this is for, you know, to just document cool moments like this, you know, for sure.